Hey there everyone, it's Ryan Liberty, and in this video I'm going to answer the question, what is co-regulation? Maybe you can help me with this. Alright, so here we are. We're going to go over what co-regulation is, and as always I've got my notes below you'll see me referencing because I want to make sure I get it right. So co-regulation is a process by which we manage our arousal level, which is just kind of like your level of excitement, and it's a way that we do it through other people. And the first way that we experience co-regulation is with our initial relationship with a caregiver, typically a parent, typically the mother. And what happens is the caregiver is the one who's always regulating our arousal level as a baby, because as a baby we don't have the ability to self-regulate yet. We are helpless to the world, and basically when we become too aroused or too excited, the way that we get our needs met is to get the attention of a caregiver and co-regulate through them. So I'll give some examples of what co-regulation is at the end of the video, but generally the baby is going to signal that they're stressed in some way, usually screaming, crying, kicking, maybe focusing attention on the parent or the caregiver. And the caregiver then in turn is going to attune to the baby's needs and take the appropriate measures to regulate the baby's arousal level. This is related to the attachment system and how we develop our attachment styles. If you know about that, I'll do some videos on that. And also, if it's done correctly, if it's done well, this is how we result in secure attachment specifically. And when we have secure attachment, and it's been done correctly in childhood, then we internalize a visual, we internalize, not necessarily a visual, we internalize a model of our caregiver, and it becomes our sense of safety in ourselves, and it gives us the ability to go ahead then and self-regulate from that point forward. When it's done not so well, we wind up with under-regulating, which could be something like neglect, or we could be over-regulating, which would look something like control. So that's what happens in childhood. That's our first experience of co-regulation. But what happens when we become older? So when we get older, we typically do co-regulation with people like very close friends or significant partners, lovers, people of that nature. And what happens is that now, instead of one person, the parent or the caregiver regulating the baby, as adults, we're two separate people co-regulating each other. And it's a reciprocal, ideally equal situation where both people are regulating they're regulating each other's arousal level and making sure that it's nice and calm and steady throughout. So if one person becomes a little too under-regulated, the other person tries to stimulate them and bring them back to the middle. And if another person becomes too over-regulated, the other person will try to kind of calm them down, bring them back to the middle. But it's reciprocal. Both people are doing this to each other at the same time. And doing that allows you to get that sense of stability that is comparable to the way that a mother gives a sense of stability to their baby, or a caregiver or a parent. Something that's different also about adult co-regulation is that there's the added element of sexual relations. So just something to keep in mind. There's hormonal things going on, there's neurotransmitters involved, and we won't get into the details of that, but it just makes it a little bit different when we're talking about adult relationships. So baby and caregiver, there's a one-way co-regulation, and when it's an adult relationship, there are two people co-regulating at the same time. Now, some examples of what co-regulating might look like, and this is something that typically happens the way I'm describing it, you're going to hear it maybe in the terms of the way it would happen with a caregiver and a baby, but you can kind of think of how it might come across for an adult relationship as well. So some things could be like the baby calling for help, and this could be just you turning in an adult relationship, turning to your partner saying, I'd like to talk to you about something. It could be avoiding something that looks threatening. The child may be turning away from something threatening, or the adult maybe shying away from something that looks frightening, maybe going to their room, closing off. There's also distracting, where the mother may try to calm the baby by distracting them from what they think is threatening. And this can also happen as adults when we do things like relax and watch TV, or go do something fun to take our minds off something. There's using reassuring words, telling the baby it's okay, mommy or daddy, or I'm here. And as an adult, letting somebody know, I'm here for you, it's okay, we'll get through this together, things like that. There's comforting touch, which you could see how that would work for a baby. Coddling, or for an adult, just, touching somebody on the back, touching them on the shoulder. And there's also active ignoring, which is when a baby maybe is throwing a temper tantrum, and there's no valid reason for that baby to be over-regulated in that moment, overexcited. So active ignoring allows them to calm down and deregulate, go towards a more modest middle ground arousal level. And the same thing could happen for an adult. If you see an adult who's having like a total fit over something that there's no rationale behind it, sometimes it's okay to actively ignore that person and let them come back down towards the middle. So those are all different ways that co-regulation occurs. If you have any examples of co-regulation maybe that you experienced today, if you could think of some of those, go ahead and leave those down below so we can have some more examples for everybody watching. And I thank you for your contribution to my community here and our community. And I thank you for learning about co-regulation with me today. Do you give a about mental health? If you do, then I've got some free coloring pages I think you'll enjoy. Go ahead and click to get those. If you like this video, I have many more on YouTube. Subscribe to see the rest of them. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below for the rest of the community and share with a friend. As always, I want to remind you that your life matters. Nobody can question your worth. However it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're going through, it's okay, and you are loved. Thanks again for watching.